Okay, so this is something that I've kind of talked about multiple times over the last couple of months. Um, and I've thrown it out on different uploads here and there, but it's real quick, so if you weren't really paying too much attention, you missed it. But this has been a reoccurring question, so I'm going to talk about details. And now we're far enough into the new year where I can, I'm starting to get a little bit more solid on the idea of what we're doing here. So I'm talking about, of course, me going back to Florida. All right, so when is the move? When is the move? When is the move? All right, first off, there is no hard date. There is no set hard date like June 31st at 7 a.m. I have no set specific time. All I know is that I'm doing it, and it's going to be this year. And it's a 9.99, on a scale of 10, there's a 9.99% chance that I'm going to go in the summertime. All right, now, first and foremost, the biggest thing and the reason why I'm waiting for a summertime move is because of my kids. More important, the one of the two of the most is my son, because my daughter's not in school, my son is. All right, and one of these things is because the ideal situation was we were going to move straight into a new place. Like, we were going to leave here and go straight to our new home and start from there. But the further along we're getting here, the more it's looking like it's not going to happen like that. It's going to be a two-stage move. And if it's a two-stage move, which means we go down, we stay with somebody, then we get our own place, then that kind of throws a wrench into things, for as far as getting my son to school. My son he's a little bit of a slow learner. He's starting to catch up now to where he's supposed to be at, but he's still a little bit behind. And he's also a late starter because he starts in December. So, there's that. And he's real sensitive because he hasn't. I don't know. It's kind of hard to talk about. My kid takes he takes simple things hard. Like the other day, he got off a school bus and he's crying. He's in tears, and my wife asked him what's wrong, and he said because his friend told him that he wasn't his best friend. So my son got emotional about that. Now, if I do a two-stage move, which is looking more and more likely, the chances are my wife and kids are going to be staying with my grandmother. And unless we want to bust some mission, and I probably won't even be allowed to by the school district, my son's going to have to go to a Miami-Dade school in North Miami, Miami Gardens. Absolutely not. I went to Miami when I was 14 years old, and I was able to get by. But it was rough. I seen a lot of crazy shit. Kids are savages down there. My son cries for a kid telling him you're not my best friend. I can only imagine my son coming home from school, and finding out that day that some kids jumped him, took his shoes off, slammed him around, and threw his shoes on the roof or something. I see shit like that happen to kids in lunch. And it's not funny. I'm laughing because it's I'm emotional about it, but it's pretty serious, right? Now, granted, I went to middle school. I was down there in middle school, and kids aren't as bad in elementary school, but it still can be pretty bad. I mean, how much difference really is there between 8 years old or going on 8 years old and like 10, 11? So, and all those kids are mixing and mingling together. So especially like on lunch times and shit. So it's just that makes me very nervous. I don't want my kid. I don't want Daniel going to school in Miami-Dade because I just don't think that he's cut out for it. I don't think he's strong enough to get by with that. And it would tear me up knowing that my son's getting, bullied and, treated like shit in fucking school. So that's a big problem for me. And that's why I want to go during the summertime. Because if I do go during the summertime, it's a two-stage move that gives me a month or two to play with getting there. I know the jobs are there. I know how much money we're going to be making. So if we're not paying any bills, the money will stack quick because I'll be getting paid weekly, my wife will get paid weekly, and we'll be pulling $1,300 a piece. I mean, not a piece, but between the two of us, we'll be making $1,300. So a month or two of that, with almost all of that money stashed, I don't have too much concern about getting into a place. Now, the second thing is I can't go to an apartment. I can't do an apartment. I got too many cars, and I do too much crazy shit with the engines and stuff, and I'm most likely to have to work out a home again when I go down there because I can't just go down there and open up a place, for many reasons. So I'm going to have to, I cannot do the apartment thing. I can't do apartment, can't do condo. All right, could you imagine the neighbors see me walking through the halls with a fucking engine? Yeah, that's a no-go. So there's that problem. Now, why is that a problem? Because houses are expensive down there. $1,300 to $1,500 being on the low side of rent. And the biggest problem is these motherfuckers want like first, last security. So you're looking at like a rough estimate like $5,000 to move into a house, unless you're extremely lucky. So then that takes me back to what can we fucking do? We're going to have to most likely go back into a trailer. Now, the good thing is from the situation, two things. One, we've already got one record of paying one off. So you should be good there with the financing company. That should put us a big leg up because we've already got a good history started with established credit with paying a trailer off. All right. And secondly, why this is good is because, when we got into it last time, we didn't have no deposits. All we just had to do was pay the first month lot rent. And that was like $700 and change. And then we moved in. All right. The third reason why this is good is because we already have experience with the trailer now. So now we know what to look for and be aware of and be wary of when moving into a place. I'm not going to pay for an inspector or whatever. But like I said, I lived in one for a couple of years and we had some serious fucking problems, which is the main reason why I moved and took the job in West Virginia, is to get out of that shit. We have some serious problems, and I know what to look for now to avoid repeating that same mistake. Plus, we're looking at something that's like a, not so much a trailer, but like a prefabricated home or whatever the fuck they're called. I can't remember right now. I'm having a brain fart. But a model home or something like that. But anyway, so like something that's on the floor, it's on the ground, it's not up on stilts or whatever. It's a model home it's like a advanced version of a trailer, and we can get one with 3 bedrooms and we'll be straight. And it's like $30,000. That's a lot more manageable than trying to take on a mortgage or just paying rent somewhere. So there's that. These are all the things that I have to deal with that are running through my head now with going back down there. Now, one of the big things is we were looking at income tax money to go back, but the last couple of years we've been having issues with income tax. We realized we fucked up last year. What happened was me and my wife were both working full time for the whole year. Me and my wife were both claiming the kids, so that was a problem. We didn't pay enough on taxes, and we went to H&R Block. They were like, yeah, you're going to get like $700 back. I'm like, well, that's fucking insane, we never got that low since we've been having kids, and so we went to, this wasn't last year this happened, this was the year before last. We went to the tax man that my homeboy recommended. He's actually in a building, and it's not just to him, it's a whole bunch of dudes. It's an actual office. It ain't some crazy guy off Craigslist. It's an actual office set up, and it's right across the street from Cloverleaf, which is the shop I used to work in for Ryder in Miami. And so I went down there and homeboy hooked it up. What happened was like the year before, okay, so last year was the year we fucked up, but the year before that we were straight. Like we did everything we normally did because I was the only one pretty much working. And we had been going to H&R Block, and H&R Block quoted us all like $1,500 or some shit. I'm like, well, that's crazy. How the fuck and they looked back through our history. The year before, 2 years before that, we got like $8,000, and the year after that, we got like 75. So I was like, well, how the hell we dropped so much? And they said they don't know. They had no reason. They had no understanding of why that changed so much. So my homeboy's like, nah, don't fuck with them. Go to this place, and I did, and that guy got us back, I think like $6,000. So, straight. And then the following year is the year we fucked up. We were both claiming the kids. And he was like, man, you're making me jump through hoops here. You got to be really careful. Don't do this shit again. Which we didn't. And we got back $3,000, which was better than the $700 that H&R Block was going to give us. So now, this year, I put in that early calculator shit. And it's saying, H&R Block is saying the same shit, like $700. Now, I understand there's some room for error there. But not like fucking $6,000 worth of error. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be back to our normal $7,000 this year around, because I claimed the kids and shit, but she didn't. So she got all the taxes taken out of her income, and so I figured we'd be balanced out, but apparently still not. So I haven't called the tax man yet. I need to call him because I'm going to be sending him the email, all the information down there, so he can get that started. But now I'm starting to worry that we're probably going to get like $3,000 back, and if we get $3,000 back, guys, then that means that's pretty much just the cost of moving. That's just the cost of moving. Like for $3,000, that's gonna it's gonna cost me probably in the ballpark of $1,000 to deal with the truck. Maybe I'm gonna get a 26-footer. So there's that flat standard rent fee, and then there's the mileage fee to go down there. When I looked at the prices for a pickup truck or an Isuzu to go down to North Carolina, it was like $600 some round trip, and that's about 700 miles. It's 1,000 miles to Miami. So I'm figuring, bigger truck, fuel and everything, it'll probably be around $1,000 to move. And then I'm moving all my shit in a car. Now, the car I might be able to park at a homeboy's. Like, I'm 99% sure I can park it at a homeboy's house. But now I'm looking at, I'm not moving straight into another place, most likely. And the reason why is because we've called ahead of time. We called down there the place we were thinking about moving to, which is literally like across the street from our last place. And mainly because they have a lot of brand new model homes and different management, because the management at the other place was kind of aggravating. So, we were thinking about that, thinking about a new place, but they're like, here's the problem. The problem is you need to have an established job in the area. They want to see that that you've already got a job and all that stuff before they approve you for the loan or whatnot, which is understandable, but it kind of fucks me at the same time. Like, this is the problem. If we have enough money to get in initially, and then we're going to go straight back to work that same week we come in town, then, that'd be great. But, it's looking like that's not going to be the case. So with that being said, here's the issue I have, moving in with family. I have family members down there. Almost all of them live in a small condo. All the family members I have live in a small condo. So they can't really take people in. And, of course, because condo rules and all that shit, because the places where they live at. So what it's looking like with my best bet is going to be is probably have my wife and kids go with my grandmother and me go with one of my friends. Crash on my friend's couch. But we're looking at 3 to 4 weeks of living like that before we can even, get into the situation of discussing getting a place. So this is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of crazy variables to deal with, which is why I cannot tell you guys exactly when I'm going back. Although I can say without beyond a shadow of a doubt that going back is going to happen. I'm not riding out another year here. I'm pretty fucking miserable. Plus, I'm losing out on money. Like, every day I sit here, I'm losing out on money. The only good thing about me being in West Virginia so far is, like, it took my life in plenty of different directions. Like, my YouTube channel went in a different direction, and then I learned a lot of things from you guys and doing the shit and the eBay thing, and then, of course, Jesse stumbling across me and all that stuff. So there's a lot of good things came from here. But this is kind of like, my Batman went off into the mountain shit. Like, this is me going off into the mountains. I learned all this valuable shit. Now I need to go back to the city and put it into fucking play. So I definitely want to go back and put on the cape and cowl and get into it. I really want to do that. I think I'm going to be 10 times more successful than I was last time because I have a better head about what I'm doing. And of course, I'm meeting and knowing more people. So that's great. But, it's just the hardest part on a move like this is getting established. And it wouldn't be bad if I didn't have to worry about my son in school. Like, if I didn't have to worry about that, if that wasn't a factor, I could go tomorrow. Like, if my son was a baby still, I could pack up and leave tomorrow and it wouldn't matter because they could just crash to my grandmother's house and they wouldn't have to worry about school or whatever, and we could just take our time working, making the money, and getting a place. And anyway, the reason why I can't go with my grandmother is because I don't do well living with family members, man. It just doesn't, especially not on my dad's side, because they're all like, of course, my grandma's old as hell, and the family, the Spanish thing, and the way they like to live, and they like to dominate you, and I'm the elder here, so you gotta fucking more or less be my slave. I'm not exaggerating, guys. It's terrible. It's just I'm a very like a lot of people say I have a big ego and all this bullshit. I don't like to be told what to do. And the last time I was at my grandmother's, all I did was sleep, get up and go to work, come back, take a shower, and sleep. And my wife was cleaning the apartment all the time and everything, but it was still a problem. Like, my grandmother is crazy. She's senile. She goes out of her way to make problems. And the last time, like, I went to beefing with my dad, beefing with my uncles. So it's just, it's cool for my wife can, she comes from a similar kind of background, from the Philippines and stuff. So she slides in there. I mean, of course, it's rough for her too, but she's a little bit more of a soldier than I am. She's willing to take the bullshit and do what she needs to do to get by. I can't do that. So it's and that plus, if we're working staggered schedules, then I babysitting the kids and everything, that becomes a whole new situation. So moving back is going to be difficult. I have to go during the summer. This is something I have to do because I need the window of no school to make this shit work. I think that if I go down there and I crash on somebody's couch, my wife crashes at my grandmother's, all I need is a solid month of working down there to get a place. Whether it's paying an inflated price on rent somewhere or getting a shitty trailer, but whatever I have to do to make this move happen, it will happen. And I feel confident enough that even if I wind up in a shitty place again, that unlike before where I kind of got stuck and I plateaued and I couldn't save up enough money to get a place, I think that we can do that this time around. So, yeah, 15 fucking minutes. I told you a lot of personal shit. But, you know, hopefully this answers all of your questions. And know that, yes, I am going back this year. And, yes, it's most likely going to be during the summer. I'm not 100% sure when school ends for my son yet because of the fact that snow days and shit plays into a factor. And if there's a certain amount of snow days, they extend the year out. But I know that as time comes closer and we got this many weeks left before school ends, I will be giving updates and I will be making bigger plans, harder plans into going back. Because there's a couple people that I have an idea to stay with, haven't reached out to them yet. And also I mentioned before too that the guy and I went and chilled with his family over the Christmas break. You know, when I got the free boxes, the turbo and all that stuff. That guy is moving to Tampa, and he's probably going to be there at the same time I'm moving back or before that. So, and I call this the worst case scenario because I want to go back to a place where I'm familiar with the people. I want to go back to my old home shop. I know I'll be appreciated there. I know that I'll be able to chill out and do my work without having to look over my shoulder. I want to do that. But at the same time too, you know, I could always transfer to the Tampa shop. And the cost of living is much cheaper in Tampa. My mother lives there. One of my brothers lives there. So, and plus if I stay with them, I know we'd be 100% straight. All of us get along. You know, me and his wife, me and him, you know, all his kids are great kids. You know, that's hard to find, and, you know, get along well with the whole family. It'd be pretty easy. So, at the worst case scenario, because I would have to be in a new work environment, I'll go to Tampa, but Florida is going to happen. And wherever I land in Central and below in Florida, I'm straight because Tampa's got a huge Honda scene. Central Florida and Orlando has a huge Honda scene. And also, I'm only like, 2 or 3 hours, no, not 2 or 3, but 3.5 hour drive from Miami, you know, so, you know, and this is why, you know, again, why I can't put a hard date down, but it is for sure happening. And no matter whether I end up in one of those places or not, Florida is going to be the goal and the destination by the end of the summer. So whenever the fuck school starts, the end of August, beginning of September, that's by then I will be somewhere in Florida. For sure. And like I said, as the time gets closer and things are moving a little bit further and faster, it'll for sure go down. Even if I have to do like a 3-stage move, like where I move to Tampa and I live with my mother and I get a place and then I transfer again from there to Miami, it'd be a lot easier move. It'd be a 1-day trip. You know, I'll be living in the area, so I already have establishment. It'd be easier for me to get a place. So as right now, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm thinking that sounds like a pretty good fucking idea too. But yeah. When I get down there, you can expect a lot of things to boom. Like parts are gonna, my availability for parts is gonna go up. Like I have you guys, so many times you guys hit me up like, hey, you know, GSR head or whatnot. I can start stacking up on shit like that and giving to you all at a decent price because I'm a big Jew and I'll sit and hold out and wait on, and I'll sit on buyers or sellers until they get down to a price where it's, you know, agreeable for me. I'll buy it and I can send it to you guys at a price that's not gonna rape your pockets. So yeah. Whole bunch of good stuff to come. I just need to get out of here. And I am leaving. It's happening. Stay patient, guys. And rah, rah, rah. Alright, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. This doesn't count for tomorrow's upload. You're gonna get one tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So keep posted for that and peace. See y'all then.